On their graduation night, the college students are partying on the dance floor. A girl in a blue dress bumps into a handsome guy, and they share a look with each other. After the dance floor, Emma drinks beer with her group of friends. The guy, named Dex, looks at her from a distance, but gets interrupted by his friend. He makes the conversation brief and walks over to Emma and her circle. A random drunk guy falls on her lap and passes out. Dex greets Emma and wakes up the drunk guy to leave. Emma thanks him and Dex offers her to go for a drink. Emma leaves her friends and walks with Dex where they talk and introduce each other. The two dance, drink and talk the evening out. Dex mentions that all his friends have left, and so they leave the party together. He walks with her to her place, and she invites him inside. Going up the stairs, Dex stops her and leans in for a kiss, leading them to making out. They continue the makeout session all the way to her room. It doesn't get any further as Emma asks him questions about his life and what he wants to do after college. They continue their conversation, and Emma cracks a joke, but Dex isn't amused, and they proceed to make out again. Emma excuses herself to go to the bathroom to brush her teeth, and her friend Tilly enters to laugh at her. While she's away, Dex walks around her room to look at her belongings and pictures. Emma asks Tilly what to do, and Tilly tells her to simply do the deed with him. She refuses and says that she just wants to chat and get to know him. She comes back to the room, and Dex tries to initiate more with her by kissing. But Emma is persistent with just wanting to talk. He gives up and shares a conversation with her. Then eventually, they tuck into bed. The next morning, Dex gets dressed, and Emma wakes up to him getting ready to leave. Dex tells her that he was planning on leaving her a note, but couldn't find a pen, and that he has to leave with his parents since they've arrived. Emma is ready to bid goodbye to him, but Dex says he can ask his parents if they can leave later in the day. Emma enters the bathroom to brush her teeth, and Tilly's inside preparing her bath. She excitedly asks her if they did the deed, while Dex listens in through the thin walls. Emma denies it, and just tells her that they only talked. She finishes up, and Dex quickly uses the phone to call his mom. He asks her if they can leave later instead, and he gets the green signal. Dex meets Tilly, and she prepares food for the three of them. Tilly suggests that they all do something together, but back out once she takes the hint that the two prefer to be alone. Dex and Emma spend time together hiking up a hill, and there are others hanging out up at the top. Dex's friends recognize Dex, and he instantly lets go of Emma's hand. Emma and Dex find a spot and take a seat to admire the view and talk about the previous night. Dex tells her that she's become a memorable person to him since she refused a one-night stand with him. Emma takes out her camera, and the two take a picture, so she has something to remember him by. They go back down the hill and prepare to say their goodbyes, but Dex invites Emma to a drink. They run across the city hand in hand, but Dex's parents pass them by in their car, stopping them. He carelessly drops Emma's bag onto the ground to greet them. When he introduces them to Emma, who's in disbelief, they invite her over for dinner, but she declines and leaves dejected. As she's walking further off, Dex runs after her. He apologizes for his parents abruptly arriving and asks for contact information to stay in touch with her. He invites her to stay with him and his parents once he comes back home from France, and Emma gladly accepts. The two say their byes and go off on their separate ways. A year passes, and the two are doing their own thing. Emma is getting her flower massaged in a Scooby-Doo-looking van, while Dex is burning calories in bed with a woman. Just as Emma's flower is about to release pollen, a knock comes on the door. They rush to fix their appearances, and others board in the van. Emma writes a letter for Dex while she and the group are on the road for their next tour stop. Her thoughts get interrupted by one of her crewmates asking her who she keeps writing these letters for and why she's just receiving measly postcards in return. She tells them about Dex. Then Gary, who was giving her a massage earlier, says he knows him and casted him for one of his plays. In Rome, Dex finds his mom Allison flirting with a younger man. So, we know where Dex gets it from. Together, they share a drink. They take a stroll together, and his mom asks who's been sending all the letters. He brushes it off, and Allison mentions the girl who came over for Christmas. Dex tells her that it was Emma, and Allison says that she liked her and was different compared to the other girls Dex had a history with. Emma and her crew perform their play at a school. The little kids don't seem too interested, and some of them get called up to participate in the play. They finish up their performance and get applauded by the students. The team celebrates with beer and shares heartfelt messages, and one of their crewmates, Tracy, delivers them some packages. Dex and his mom spend more time together in a nice outdoor restaurant. And Allison asks him what plans he has for the future. She tells him that he has to step up now that he's an adult. He won't always be sheltered with money and freedom from responsibilities. Dex isn't fond of the conversation. Allison tells him that one day it will no longer be easygoing, so he has to start picking up after himself and becoming responsible. She thinks of quitting theater and becoming a writer there. Gary asks to speak with her alone and tries to convince her to stay with them and do more plays, but Emma looks hesitant. Dex drops his mom off at the hotel, and his parents invited him to lunch the next day. He feels like his parents are hiding something from him, but they refuse to mention anything. He returns to his place, feeling lost. She opens the parcel she received earlier while Gary is heard singing in the background. Inside are some socks, a postcard, and a job listing in Leeds. She calls Tilly and asks to move in with her because she wants to start writing professional plays in London. Dex writes a letter for Emma. He mentions that he plans to move back to London in September. Coincidentally, Emma tells Tilly that she'll come back home in September as well. September arrives in no time, and Emma's moved in with Tilly. She commutes to work while gathering inspiration for her writing. And Dex picks up jobs as an MC. Emma works at a diner and is called for a meeting before the start of the shift. A new staff has been hired named Ian, and Emma's in charge of teaching him the ropes. Ian mentions that he's working at the diner for flexible hours, as he's building his career as a stand-up comedian. Emma continues to guide him around the place, and soon they hear Mexican dancing music. She tells him that it's a dance routine they follow 4 times an hour. In the middle of the dance, Emma spots Dex sitting at one of the tables next to a woman. He gets up to walk to her, applauding her for her little dance, and wraps her in a large embrace. He leads her to his table and introduces him to a woman who's named Naomi. Emma asks him why he's at the diner, and he tells her that he and Naomi were just down the road shooting a film. The two get close and touchy in front of Emma, and Ian steps in to ask if they're ordering anything. Naomi declines, but Dex orders 3 margaritas. Emma tells her that she can't have a drink with them because she's working, but Dex insists that it'll just take 5 minutes. Naomi firmly says that Emma's working, so she can't join them. Dex gives up and asks for the bill, so Emma works on it. Then Dex goes up to her to give her a tip. Emma finishes up her shift and gets out of her work clothes. Ian steps in and asks her how she knows the man from earlier. She tells him that he's someone she knows from university. Ian asks her what she's doing tonight and tells her about the gig he's doing later on that night. Emma declined his offer and says that she's meeting up with Dex. The next day, she arrives at a field where Dex is lying down waiting for her. She gets upset at him for coming to her workplace and making her feel humiliated. She throws him the tip he gave her. Dex tries to give it back as a gift, but she refuses to accept it. He gives up on the money, and they talk about how everything's been. Dex questions Emma why she's still working at the diner even though she hates. She tells him that not everyone works in the media like he does, then apologizes for being rude. Emma tells him that it doesn't matter whether she keeps working at the diner since she plans to move back home to Leeds. She's lost about what she wants to do, and Dex sarcastically tells her that at least she tried. He brings up that Emma has only written 1 play, which was a flop, then never continued and chose to flip Quasadillas instead. Dex claims that perhaps it's arrogance that's causing her to give up and move back up north instead of pushing for success. Emma defends herself by telling him that not everyone can gain easy connections that can give jobs on TV unlike him. They lay down together on the grass, and Dex listens to Emma's problems. Emma mentions that she had no idea what would happen after moving back to London. Dex asks her why she never gives herself the credit she deserves after so many people have seen her potential. She brushes it off and tells him that she better get going. He stops her and tells her to stay to share another bottle together. They spend the whole day catching up with each other. Emma asks about how his mom has been and what Naomi saw in him. Dex replies that Naomi saw him as a complicated person, causing Emma to laugh, not believing it. Suddenly, Emma tells him she has to go, and he offers her to stay at his place for the night. She declines and they say bye, sharing a warm embrace. What a romantic TV show. What do you guys think of this show? People are criticizing the actress for not being pretty enough and the actor being too handsome for her. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel.